Hello again, Steve here on a glorious sunny Sunday afternoon, out for a run. Took a bit of a pause to cut a little video because a thought came to me with regards to, or a helpful point anyways, to the Inner Genie project. The Inner Genie project is something I'm beginning to, of course, help myself because it's always, it's come from here first, right? But to help people bring out their genie, or as the Latins would say, or the Greeks would say, the genius, or the genius, right? Bring that out. And because I hear a lot of people sometimes, they come to me in conversation, or don't come to me, but we arrive there in conversation somehow. I can't do that. And while that may be true, in questioning, it doesn't seem to be arrived at by any solid means, right? So my approach to this is something to this effect, all right? As long as something we want to do is at least believable to us as possible, and we have a modicum of intelligence, right? And we look around and we say, okay, this is not Neil Armstrong going to the moon. If somebody was to say, I want to be Neil Armstrong or like Neil Armstrong and go to the moon, I mean, it's a bit far-fetched. I'm not saying it's not possible, but it's a bit far-fetched. And these are not the kind of things that I'm running into. I'm running into things like, I cannot speak in public. Well, my approach to this is not to tell people that that's false, because that's like a put down, right? You say something and I tell, no, it's not true. Well, come on, that's a little bit abusive, right? But the question is, okay, if the something I want to do, it has been done by many people. It's not some weird or some outlandish anomaly like Neil Armstrong that only a handful of people walked on the moon, if they ever walked on the moon. But it's quite a common thing. Like, there's thousands and millions of people who do public speaking. This is not some rare thing, right? Or if it's to create some kind of a business, and it's not an uncommon business. Or if it's to meet the love of their life, and, millions of people do that. If it's a fairly common thing, then the approach I like to take for myself is, okay, if many people can, and I've got, a modicum of intelligence, and there's probably people who are as dumb as I am who've done this, then why can't I? And that's an exercise for all of us to try sometimes when we run into those points, those choke points, that oops, somehow this isn't for me, right? It's to ask that question, right? We're beating our chest, right? Why can't I? Rather than I can't, because I can't is an assertion, right? We can learn these things from lawyers. A good lawyer never really answers a question. They ask another question. Keep asking questions till they got to the bottom, right? And it's a good skeptical approach to use. It's a bit of a scientific method in a way. Rather than making an assertion. Now, if what I want to do is go to the moon, to walk on the moon, and I ask the question, why can't I? Then I might actually arrive with some fairly reasonable answers. It won't ultimately be can't because somebody did, so it's possible. But it's unlikely, right? Because, okay, the intelligence thing, maybe, but it's extremely, extremely, extremely rare. And there's no real need for anybody else to do it, perhaps in our lifetime. So, but that's not what I hear people talking about, like I say. People are talking about things that are very practical. It's about finding the love of their life, developing a successful business, getting the job they want, public speaking, becoming more confident, losing their fear, getting over anxiety. All of these sorts of things that people want, and yet, it's just a little bit of logical extrapolation sees that, we're all, fairly intelligent. I mean, there's quite a range of intelligence, but there's people of high intelligence and fairly low intelligence that achieve things, right? And of course, even on intelligence scales, we all have different contributions to the package. There's some people who are very intelligent don't have a good work ethic. Some people might be a little bit less intelligent, have a great work ethic, and they can get a lot done. So if we're looking at something that's especially very common, we got a modicum of intelligence, the approach I like to take is to ask the questions, why can't I? Rather than I can, because that's an assertion which doesn't answer anything. Right? That's positive thinking. And positive thinking sometimes is a bit of a trap, right? Because we can say things, but we've never analyzed it. We just say that, yeah, I could. But why can't I? That helps us to see the traps that might be there. And if we don't see any traps and we keep on asking that question, then the doors keep opening up in a way, right? Because there's nothing in the way, then it's full steam ahead, right? But if we just say that we can, then we might not notice the pitfalls we will fall into because we're just storming ahead. We haven't seen them, but by asking why can't we can analyze and see the road ahead and then just go with it. But keep asking the question, because every step along the path is a new challenge, right? It's like when you begin a project. So for example, I want to have a certain mate in my life. Okay, once found, then it turns to the development of that relationship, the fruition of that relationship, and what comes from it, and so on. That's all new projects, every day kind of thing, right? So, in our Genie project, it's about a conversation, more than anything, of the exploration of that question. That's one part of it anyways, is why can't I? Because there's all of this life we want to live, right? Out there, and in here as well, that we can put up barriers to actually experiencing. But a lot of times those barriers might be real, but they might be false. And in the case of the falsehoods, if we keep asking the question and it never makes any sense as to why those barriers make any sense, then they begin to fall apart and we can go forward and experience more in life. That's my input on it. Hope this is helpful. Steve here again, great chatting from the Inner Genie Project, coming to a website near you. Take care, bye for now.